Hey, I'm ElusiveKev, welcome back to the TT Old Man Ride on the Edge, which we definitely did do last time out, around sections 11 and 12 of the mountain course on board the Kawasaki and Suter for the first time. What a beast that bike is, and we will enjoy it for 4 races around the Old Blair Forest Race. Let's head to Scotland, as it's another TT style event, as we've got a fellow Suter here. Got some competition, as we've got a couple of Kawasaki's and a BMW. Let's see what we can do around this 3-kilometre circuit. So we are revving up for the first event. As we get underway on board our Suter. It'll be interesting to see how we do against our fellow Suter. Of course, we don't have much experience on board this bike. Only one event. And that's only for a couple of minutes, but still it blew me away in those couple of minutes. So hopefully it blows away the opposition here. As you use all the engine braking, it down to first for the first hairpin. That's not too bad. So now we go through the S's, through the stone walls. Into the slow left with the rocks on the inside. Don't want to get that wrong. Then the right hander. The stone wall on the outside. Don't want to get that wrong either. But now we can unleash the beast. We get it up to 6th gear already. Approach 190 miles per hour. Over 190 miles per hour for the kink. Which is lift off. And brake in a straight line. Lots of engine braking going into the final hairpin. And nice and soft on the accelerator. Remember there's a bit of a bumper, so just for the start finish line. There it is. As we go on to the second lap. And that lap was incredibly quick. Now we just need to do 2 more of them. And I'm sure you've heard this before about me talking about this place, but I do love this track, how simple it is, but it's wide open. You can battle around here if it was a mass start event. Unlike that circuit we did visit for the mass start event for this invitational to get this bike. And I like sections of the Isle of Man circuit. So not that last section, it's pretty quick, it's wide open though. It's got some slow corners in between where you can try and dive down the inside and pass. But there's some sections on the mountain course where it very much feels like one line. Like sections 3 and 4. It's one line, it's snaky. But if you make one mistake, go into a wall or mound, into someone's garden. So you don't want to be going offline really with those sections and being trying to force an issue with someone and make a move. So that's what I really do. I love this track. So I've been a bit like a bus. You remember that old circuit? It's just fast with hairpins at either end. It's basically Autobahn. Hairpins either end. For the F1 race at least. 1959. Then for its own circuit it had a bit more of a section and a bit shorter. They started racing again in the 90s, I remember. Before getting banned again racing round of us. Yeah, that's what this circuit kind of reminds me of. As you go into the final corner, I could hear a bike in front. Seriously, over 3 laps, are we catching someone? Go towards the line, slight lift off. So how have we won it? Let's see, fastest lap 1:11.5. Oh, the other Suter hasn't finished yet. Got less than 10 seconds. As we've definitely beaten the BMW. The Kawasaki's are ahead of us as well. And in it, so we have beaten the Suter. Beat them by almost half a minute. Oh, Andy Allen, he loves this bike. With the BMW in third and the Kawasaki's at the back. Let's see if we can repeat this success in race 2. So we go second time around. On board the Suter. Let me get some good experience on board this bike. not just with how it handles and everything, but look at that dash. Got so much info. I'm not sure how much info is actually telling us in that box. Is that just bike specs? But yeah, we do have good info on the dash. Got the revs, as you can see, gearing, time, and of course the speed as well in miles per hour. All the info you need. Don't really need gaps in a TT start event. Maybe in a mass start event would be nice. So you go down this back straight, past the crowds. You can barely see us, can they? Just a blur of blue going by. So have the trail brake heavily into there, but that was very messy through there. Not what you want to be doing. Let's go on to the second lap. Get down to second. This first chicane. Accelerate away. Over the crest, got to lift before that crest, or else it will lift you somewhere else where you don't want to be. Taking that hairpin very slow so far on board the Suter. Maybe you've got to be a bit more confident with the speed through the apex there. As we're not very confident with the throttle, as you can see through this section. And then you don't need much throttle, it's very much a rhythm section. As now we can unleash it, the back straight. So halfway through this second race. I've already forgotten how many races there are, is it 4? I think it's 4. And before the first race I'd forgotten how many laps there were in each race. I was thankfully I had an outtake, which you'll see at the end. So able to see how many laps, but yeah, sometimes if you tell me something, I'll forget it in the next 30 seconds. Which is always useful. I'm surprised I make it home every day after work. I'll remember where I live half the time. Let's go into this hairpin. Okay, let's be a bit more aggressive with the apex speed. That was better, but then on the acceleration we kind of lost that speed we might have gained. Because you've got to be so careful. This bike got insane acceleration. That's why it's the beast. So you just got to be so careful with the throttle, with the weight transfer as well. I've learnt a couple of times it's been wheeling just because I've not been leaning forward. I've been leaning forward on this bike. It's the only bike that really does require on acceleration. So we go into the hairpin. The final time. There you go, smooth acceleration, that's more like it. Go over the bump and across the line for the second time. And of course we're at the top by just 5.8 seconds this time. Stephen did the fastest at 108.7. Where did he pull that from? And then we've got the Kawasaki's and the BMW in last. So overall, we're leading by over 30 seconds. And then there's a 10-second gap, even though it's not saying it at the top. So let's head into the third race. And so just repeat what we're doing. So for the third, I don't think final race. You get underway for another 3 laps. And this Old Blair Forest Race track. Let's go through the chicane. Trying to be a bit more aggressive with acceleration on this bike. I feel like if I am though, it's going to accelerate me and I won't exist afterwards, so it's going to accelerate me into a wall or pole. So yeah, still not fully confident on this bike, but the bike's plenty quick, so it's making up for it. Go through a far section I'd love to live in one of these houses either side. Love that on Isle of Man. Even live there. Just for when the TT event's going on. I like what they got on the moment, the TT practice. I love that. Go over the bump. Accelerate away. In through. The chicane, nicely done, nice and smooth. You can see getting up to 6th gear now before we have to lift. Got a little rise there over the bridge. And now getting up to 3rd gear through here as well. Maybe that 108 is possible then. Just been a bit cautious so far as all that's port. Did not get the lean right there. Should have been leaning left instead of trying to go back right through the left-hander there. Now lift for the kink. Brake in a straight line, use all that engine braking. Go extremely wide, brake for a corner that doesn't exist. As we approach the final lap now. You can see barely lifting as we're over that bump now. So we saw the other Suter rider, like 108. Oh, that's just a gauntlet to chase, isn't it? Just throwing down the challenge. You go lift before the bridge. And heavy engine braking through the corner. And that's not really an S-bend, is it? Maybe leaning too much there. Because there's not much kind of corner angle there. Could virtually take that in a straight line, so maybe got to work on that if there's another race after this one. Go towards the final corner. This time actually brake for the corner. There we go, that's better. Really trail brake on this bike though, right to the apex on that occasion. And accelerating hard across the line. As we did a fast at 108.8, it is possible, there you go. As there's the Suter in 3rd. What are you doing? John there. There's Kent in 2nd on the BMW. Great job ahead of the Kawasaki's as well. So overall we're a minute ahead of everyone else. Easy. So we are revving up for the final race. Did have one more to do. But as you've seen already, we probably won't be pushing it that hard in this final one. Just trying through that section. Some different lines maybe. A couple of sections. And again, there's not a lot of different sections around this course. You can see almost into the bridge. That was a very good start. To accelerate, here we go. Let's try and keep it a bit straight through that section. That's better. Still need to improve on our leaning through there and our rate transfer. So we go, show it off, doing some wheelies for the crowds. See, that's what happens when you don't lean forward. An acceleration on this bike. You're just showing all of it to the opposition and having no speed or traction. That front wheel. Try to keep some throttle in after that little kink. Wasn't too bad. So now we get up to 5th before that little bump. We get down to 2nd for the first chicane. Skimming those tyres on the inside. If you're doing that, you know you're taking a good line. Up to sit before the bridge. And heavy braking down to 1st for that hairpin. Still very cautious in that hairpin. Still got to work on that. We go through the snaky section. The rhythm section of the lap. But that's all this lap is. You got that rhythm section and it's just straights and hairpins. Which we're halfway through now, this final attempt around here in Scotland. So go get all the engine braking done. You can probably hear the clicking slightly as you do that, go down the gears and up the gears. It's noticeable to me, but then I'm playing with headphones. So on the final lap now, taking that wide arc in, skimming the tyres. That was a bit scary, almost leaned in too much there. Accelerate over the brow of the hill and across the bridge. Wave to the crowd. And through this section. And you see a bit more throttle on the exit. That wasn't too bad. Break it down through the right, through the left. Should really just be using that left as an acceleration zone for this long straight coming up next. Almost did there, we're getting better at least. Doing that. Let's go through King. And get all the way down to first. We've got a friend in front. Fortunately, we don't have enough laps to pass them. So we head towards the line. Keeping some throttle in over the bump as well. Seems to work. As 107.7. Oh, I said we weren't going to push that hard in that final race, but obviously did, as we won by 37 seconds at our fellow Suter. Then a couple of Kawasaki's, and the BMW, after being the hero, is back to last. As overall, a minute and 22 ahead of anyone else. So that's a pretty successful visit then to the Old Blair Forest track, as we definitely won the Riverside Cup. But can we do as well on the Ancient Speed Track TT, the 12-kilometre long circuit? We're doing 2 races, 3 laps on board our Suter. Find out how well we do next time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Oh, a bit of a wheelie. Going to the final hairpin, that's better, that's it. Hit the apex. And accelerator. As we do have one final race then. And that is how you're meant to start it. Let's go into the hairpin at the end of that. Oh, a bit wide on the exit.